Hi everybody, this is a video showing you how to take through Brother Canvas Workspace, the SVG, to cut this lovely chunky handbag. A few people have bought it who are using scan and cut machines, and even though I do have a video already on the channel showing you how to take larger than canvas and black looking SVGs through Brother Canvas Workspace, they've asked if they can see it with this handbag, which is fair enough, it won't take long. Okay, so to import an SVG to Canvas Workspace, you need to click on this SVG graphic here at the left-hand side, navigate to where the SVG is saved on your system, select it and press open. Now then, this is one of those SVGs which is larger than your mat size. I'm going to do this video based on a 12 by 12 mat because that's what most people seem to use. And because when you design for Cricut Design Space, you can have every piece of the project on one canvas. That can cause problems importing into Brother Canvas Workspace because it automatically, you can see here, warning, the imported SVG was resized automatically to fit within the red dash line on the artboard. So it's actually automatically shrunk it down to fit within the cutting space on your mat. And that's okay, that's not a problem. It's just something we have to fix when it comes in. So a lot of people who use Canvas Workspace ask me if I can, when they encounter this issue, they ask me if I can give them the individual sizes of all the tiny pieces within the SVG. And that's a little bit time consuming, especially because some have even more pieces than this project. But you don't really need to know that. All you need to do is go to the PDF that you get as part of your download. I'll just zoom out. So the PDF you get for this particular project looks like this. You get a diagram of the SVG on the front telling you exactly which piece is what, and then lots of helpful information, amongst which is the size the SVG should be when you bring it into Design Space. It's like that because some updates of Design Space make SVGs come in at all weird and wonderful sizes. So I always give the user the size it should be, and then they know they're making it at the right size. So here it tells you that it should be 59.18 centimeters wide. So if we go back to Canvas Workspace now, and we need to be looking at the edit menu, which is this one, which has a shape and a cursor tool pointing into it. If we select everything on screen, it tells us that the pieces we've got here altogether measure 296.5 millimeters, and you've only got a choice of millimeters or inches in Canvas Workspace. So if we just go back here, I've got this in centimeters because that's how it is in Design Space. So 59.18 centimeters, make that number 10 bigger because with 10 millimeters in a centimeter, it would be 591.8 millimeters. So we're going to go back here, select it again, and we're going to type 591.8 into that width box here. I'm working at the top right hand corner. We don't need to worry about the height because as long as this maintain aspect ratio box is ticked, if I just hit return or if I tab over, it automatically changes the whole SVG and everything's the right size. Right, so we've solved the issue that it doesn't come in at the right size, and you're good to go now because everything's the right size. But this is one of those videos that comes in SVGs, pardon me, that comes in all black, which is a bit weird. I don't know how to fix it. It happens with some, it doesn't happen with others, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But it's dead easy to fix. You're just going to select all those cut pieces. The way I'm doing that is I'm holding the shift key down and I'm just clicking on each individual piece, and I'm doing that rather than dragging a box because I don't want to select the score lines, which it looks like they're not there but they actually are. So there I've selected all the handbag pieces. I haven't selected these unusually shaped bits and those little circles because they are the trim for the handbag. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to change the colour, and I can choose any colour of those cut pieces, and so now we can see that they work. We'll talk about that in a minute. If we just go back to this photograph, you can see that there's a little bit of trim on the front, and if I can just scroll, there are also 4 little studs on the handbag strap. So that's what those little shapes we were looking at there. And that peculiar half moon shape is actually a cut. We'll look at how to deal with that in a second. There's a cut in the lid which you just push back and it hooks under a cutout in the bag front body and it holds the lid perfectly closed. So we'll just go back there. That's that bit that I was just talking about. That is a cut. It's come through with a fill which we don't want. So we're just going to select it. We're going to choose none from the fill menu and click OK. And then this one that looks like a pen with a line there, that's the line colour menu. We're going to click where there is no colour and we're just going to make that black. So now you can see that that cut, if I can just zoom in a bit, looks as it should do. These we may as well leave black because they're going to cut from something different to this. It doesn't really matter what colour they are. Now we need to do the score lines so they work properly. And to do that we go to the layers panel. So here we can see that is that little cut that we've just made black and taken the fill out of. These are all the cut pieces. I'm just clicking on each one and you can see that it selects on screen a piece. So these up here, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers that look as if they've got nothing in it, they are the score lines and they are there. It's just that they've come through with a fill which we don't need, but most importantly they've come through with nothing for the line colour. I don't know why this happens. They're set to be black, I think, maybe possibly something different. Let me look at the have I got the PDF open? Yeah, they're set black, you see. It's so strange. I don't know why they don't work, but it doesn't matter. So we've just, in our layers panel, all I did was I clicked on the first one and I'm going to hold shift down and click on the 7th one and that selects everything in between. Then we go to the line fill menu and we're just going to make them black. You can make them any colour and it absolutely doesn't matter. So there they are now. You can see all the score lines as they should be. But of course, ScanNcut doesn't do solid lines for scores, does it? It does little dashed lines. So I'm just going to select them again. Easier to see where they are now. Remember, don't include that little half moon shape. That needs to be a solid cut. So now we go to this menu, which is the line dash pattern menu. And I don't have a ScanNcut machine. I'm not sure which one of these I would choose. So I'm just going to choose any one, just so you can see that that's how to convert it to the dash that you want to use to cut your shapes. I don't know if that might be a little bit fine actually for score lines, but you'll know what you're doing there much better than I do. So there we are now. The SVG is the right size. You can see exactly what you're doing because we've made it a more friendly colour, and you can see the score lines and they've been converted to dashed lines. So what I'm going to do now, just so that nothing can move around, is I'm going to select each individual piece and its score lines and I'm going to group it together. And group, there's a symbol here at the bottom of the layers panel, or I think you can probably, where is it? Control G. So you can either go up to your layer menu, do it there, use this graphic here, or Control G on your keyboard. And you need to do that for each individual piece on screen, just so that that gives you more freedom when you're moving things around to cut on your mats, and you can make use of all the little bits of space you might need to. Might not apply for this bag specifically, but that's what you would do in case it did. Right, so just going to zoom out a little bit now. That's it. It's frustrating when I zoom out, that bottom scroll bar disappears, which is a bit annoying really. Okay, so the first mat we're going to make and export as an FCM file that you can use with your machine. What shall we do? So just to make it easy so I can see what I'm doing, I'm going to move some bits over there, because otherwise they disappear off screen and I don't know whether I've deleted them or not. And I'm going to move some bits over there. So we'll make the first mat now, and it's what will fit. So we're going to put that there, and we'll put the handbag straps. Actually, let's just stop and think now. Let's just go back and look at our picture. Yeah. So I actually have the bag lid and the bag sides, which you can't see there. Can we go any further? There's the inside. There's the side view. So I have my lid and the sides in a different colour. So we'll just go back. I'm making this seem a lot harder than it is, I think. So let's just put that over there. That's the lid. I don't think you'll get the sides on the same mat anyway. No, you won't. But just for argument's sake, let's just select that shape and make it a different colour. Again, anything, doesn't matter, does it? That's the lid. That's a side. I have no idea which shape I used. Right, I'm just going to choose one so I can remember where it is because I don't know where that is otherwise. I'm flailing a bit, aren't I? You can tell I don't really use this software. I'm just going to get rid of that and I'm going to copy and paste that because I know it's right. Okay, so still got two walls and we've got the lid and they're different colours. Okay, so there we've got our lid on one mat, and if you wanted to put everything together you'd have to use A3 and your long mat, but because I'm just talking about this 12 by 12 mat for this, what we need to do is we need to select those and we need to select those and we just need to delete them. Don't worry about anything. You're not going to save anything here. And all we're going to do now is go to File, Export, Transfer, Export FCM file. And if your machine is linked up, you do it in a different way. But if you're actually just creating an FCM file to put on a USB or to save online so you can transfer it to your machine that way, that's how you do it. And I would just call this bag lid. And you'd save that presumably in a folder called chunky handbag or whatever you want to call it. So we've saved that now. So I'm going to press undo so that comes back. We don't need the lid anymore because we've just used it. And so now I'm going to bring these on. I didn't think they would. So what I'm going to do with that one is I'm going to rotate it and then they fit together nicely. That would only work if your pattern didn't matter. But if it doesn't matter, that's the way to do it. So again, you have to delete these bits, unfortunately. You can't just export the mat. It'll tell you that these are still there and that they're not on the mat if you leave them there. So again, we're going to delete those. File, Export, Transfer, and I'm choosing this one. If you were doing it via the internet, you'd pick that one. If you were doing it straight to your machine, you'd pick that one. But I'm just going to choose this one because I don't know what the other two do. So I would call this bag sides and it'd be there ready to put on my USB. I'm going to do undo again. We've dealt with the sides now, we can get rid of them. This is the bag front and the base, so I'm going to put that on a mat and they will also fit, won't they? So let's just delete those. File, Export, and I call this bag front and handles. Obviously you can make yours any colour you want. You can choose any contrast pattern you like. Save, undo to bring back the bits we deleted, get rid of those on the mat because we've used them. This is the bag back and the base flap. So file, export. Oh, didn't delete those. Did you? I'll just do that again so you can see what I was talking about. I'm trying to export it and it says some objects are outside of the red dash line on the artboard. It means those. So I'm going to have to delete them. File, export, export FCM file, bag, back. And I'm doing undo, Control Z to bring those back. Get rid of that because we've dealt with it now. Put these, oopsie daisy. Put these on your mat. File, export, bag, trim, save. And so now, if I go file open, but it's not going to let me see it. I'll go and show you in the folder in a minute. So I would just quit out of this now because there's nothing here that we want to save. We've just brought it into Canvas Workspace in order to export our FCM file. So we don't need to save anything that's here. I'll just hide that. That's the PDF. This is the thing I'm recording on. If I go back here, there you can see all those FCM files there that we've just exported. So I hope that helps. If you've got any questions when you come to cut it or indeed assemble it, don't hesitate to get in touch. You do get that PDF of really detailed instructions with lots of photographs to help you assemble it, and I hope that's made Canvas Workspace as clear as I can make it. As I say every time I make one of these videos, I don't have a scan and cut. I don't use Canvas Workspace really, although the more I see of it, I really like it. I think there's quite a lot more to it than what we use for our Cricuts. Um, don't hesitate to get in touch. And if you've got any feedback, if you see me do something wrong or you think that was a bit long-winded, please do comment on the video and show me how I could do it quicker, because I'd be very grateful to learn from anyone who knows more about it than I do, and I'm pretty sure that's most people out there. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.